Krishna, Krishna, O Lord of all opulence, O Rama, possessor of unlimited power, this most terrible fire is adapted to wire us, Lord devotees. So the fourth sloka goes to the next. Sudusturanna asvan pahi, Hare Krishna Radhanath Swami, Nas Dumas Vachana, Sanchatum Chowpatty. O Lord, we are your true friends and devotees. Please protect us from this unsurmountable fire of death. We can never give up your lotus feet which drive away all fear. Fourth, the residents of Vrindavan told Krishna, if this deadly fire overcomes us, we will be separated from your lotus feet. And this is unbearable to us. Therefore, just so that we can go on serving your lotus feet, please protect us. Text 25. Tam Swajana Vaikaryalam Dirche Jagadishvara Tam Agni Adipat Shivitram Anato Shakti. Translation. Seeing his devotees so distressed, Hare Krishna, the infinite Lord of the universe, and possessor of infinite power, had swallowed the terrible poison. Thus ends the report of the humble servant of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the 10th Canto, 17th chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam, titled History of Prahlad. So it's a very abrupt ending. The last verse. Seeing his devotees disturbed, Krishna, the infinite Lord, swallowed the fire. Simple. Krishna, everything was simple. It was interesting, I got a text from my wife last night. A dear friend and god-brother of mine, Ravidas, he's got cancer of his kidney. Just found out. Pull his kidney out. And he goes to cut out the cancer. It's when you read about this in the newspaper about Shane Warne or some or something like that, it doesn't really matter. When it comes close, when it's someone you know, then basically you can relate to what that must feel like. What do you feel like? For me, if I went to the doctors and he came back and said, we looked at the scans and it's bad news. You're going to die in the next 6 months. Or we operate on you, you might not die, but there's a good chance you're going to die. And it's interesting that the previous translation, please protect us from this insurmountable fire of death. We can never give up your lotus feet which drive away all fear. So when you've got the death knocking at the door, I guess these young people here, 20 years old, we've got a long way to go yet. So when the grey-haired people at the back, we have friends and associates that actually starting to die. And it becomes a reality for us. And I guess that's when we start to take account of our lives. And what do I believe? What do I know? What can I expect when the lights go out and they put me in the box or they put me in the fire? What happens then? The big question. I guess that's when our understanding of what we've assimilated up to this point is taken into account. And I wonder how it is for Ravi. His end is coming, or maybe what we know. It eventually comes for all of us. And I thought for myself, with the fact that a friend of mine is facing these fears, closeness to death, what I can account for in my own particular life. And I think one of the most important and significant things is that at some stage back there, I fell into Prabhupada's movement. And that has been mistaken. Because if I hadn't fallen into Prabhupada's movement, I would be looking at the stand now and thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen now? And looking back and saying, well, what was it all for? Why was I here? What was it? I made some money, I had a couple of kids. I did this, I did that, but ultimately, it comes down to it, what happens next? And I think there's no way that Prabhupada, Ravi, or myself can ever be fully repay our debt to Prabhupada, other than that we try to tell others about Krishna consciousness and bring them into the movement as far as possible. That's what to swallow. It's going to be a scam too. So I was thinking about sometimes I have conversations with people. I'm not a very social person, so how are you, what do you do, what's your name, and so on and so forth. And rather than sort of talk about drivel about work and so on and so forth, I to try and be a nice way where I say, what do you think happens to you at the time of death? Well, and everybody thinks about it. Everybody has some opinion about what happens at the time of death. It's a rare person who goes around thinking, I haven't got an opinion, I don't know. And I think there are basically three options. You either think nothing happens, the lights go out, and that's the end of it. Or maybe you believe there is some life after death, and perhaps that would be some merging into the cosmic consciousness, into the great unknown, into the great out there. And those who believe in a personal concept, as ourselves do, is that we have a relationship with a personal God. I thought I would like to, in some way, explore those three particular options using some degree of common sense and my own perception of how those things would be for me. The first one is that the lights go out when you die, and that's all there is. Okay? Look at the logic now. Okay, if there is nothing, where did it all come from? Well, it came from matter. Okay. Well, where did the matter come from? Well, hang on, first of all, why is there something as opposed to nothing? If all has no meaning, if there is nothing, basically everything is based on nothing and has no relevance. Why is there something? Why is there the brute fact that there is existence? Why is all this here? Why do we have all that out there? Why is it? Why? There's no reason. It really doesn't sound good. It doesn't really. If there's nothing, why is there such a sophisticated, well-defined cosmos that seems to work so wonderfully well? That's the question. Well, yeah, there is something. Just there is. There's no real reason why there is, but it just is. Okay, fair enough. Well, then, what's the reason for it? Well, there's no reason. It's just chance. Chance. Well, just a bunch of stuff happens. Just like stuff happens. Well, okay, let's look around this world. How do things happen? Do things just happen? Suddenly, bang, the house jumps out of the air. Suddenly a planet is made over there. Suddenly I'm over there. Suddenly the room just... No. Everything's based on cause and effect. There's a continuous chain. From the beginning of creation, one thing leads to another. You have a planet, you have soil, you have rain, you have flowers, you cook a meal to the shamans, you build a house. It's basically everything is totally interconnected. Every effect, every result has a cause. Is that right? I mean, if you think about it, nothing just happens. So this is a miracle. So why is it that we have this cosmos that is built predicated on cause and effect? But if you're saying is that in itself, the actual creation has no cause. There's the effect, but there's no cause. So once again, we find a logical inconsistency. There's a whole bunch of wonderful interconnectedness that all makes sense, but the actual totality itself doesn't make sense. So we were told, well, it came, where did it all come from? It came from, well, the theories change from time to time. In the 60s, there was the steady state concept of the universe, that the universe was just this thing, monolithic, that didn't change. I think energy was coming into it, but it was being absorbed. Then, I think in the 80s, we have the latest theory of the Big Bang. It was 14.something billion years ago, is that right? Suddenly, there was a Big Bang, and every creation sprung into existence. So we have, if that's the current theory, if that's where everything came from, there was nothing, which is a hard concept, and then there was something, an explosion, and it brought this incredible, sophisticated complexity, this wonderful balance where everything works. I think there are certain things, cosmological constants, and the angle of the water molecules and stuff like that, that if they were just slightly wrong, then none of this would exist. It just wouldn't work. There are so many coincidences that just make everything work really, really well. Once again, it's a cause and effect. So how did this, the question then begs itself is, okay, if everything works so well, it does work well, then how was that sophistication built into the initial condition? How is it that the Big Bang was set up that everything works so wonderfully? One almost has to say it was designed. I mean, that's a bad word to use nowadays, intelligent design. But somehow it seems to obviously say it didn't just happen by chance. There is a cause and used to bring up very much when he was talking about scientists was life coming from life, life not coming from matter. So we have a bunch of stuff. We have rocks and we have molecules in organic matter. And then amongst all that also we have life. I think what the defining point of life is consciousness. The difference between me and a rock is that I'm conscious and the rock is not so conscious. The rock is conscious. So we have this strange thing called consciousness. We have matter and we have consciousness. Matter is made up of shapes. I could get matter and I could cut it up. Consciousness, my thoughts, they have no dimensions, they have no weight, they have no substance, but they're extremely real. If you think of the letter C-A-T, C-A-T spells cat. For those who have trouble spelling, it spells cat, basically. C-A-T spells cat. So we have everybody got an image in their mind of a cat. Now, I can go back, I can write C-A-T, and I could probably open up my head. I could probably see some tracings of those shapes. See my ear, and I get a few neurons firing out here, says A-T. But nowhere in there is there a cat. But I got an image of a cat. I've got this black thing which is hanging around my mother's door. She used to be here, and it wouldn't go away. There's a little tabby cat thing out there. Everyone's got an image of a cat. Open up everyone's head. Where's the cat? You can see neurons firing something. There's no cat in there. But the cat is real. The cat is a real thing. I can't say it doesn't exist. My thoughts exist. My perceptions are real. My perceptions are there. They're extremely real. In fact, they're closer than anything else. I don't know whether anything's out there at all. You might be a complete figment of my imagination. I might be dreaming this. I might be hallucinating. I don't know. All I know is that there's something going on inside here that tells me there's a reality out there. I don't know how real that reality is. All I know is there's something going on here. So, consciousness is the primary function, even more primary than matter. We live in a world of consciousness which is non-material. I cannot take my thoughts, I cannot take my perceptions, and I cannot dissect them, I cannot measure them, I cannot do anything. But they're the most real things. It's like my face. I can't see my face. It's the most... there. Until I look in the mirror, no one can see my face. The closest thing to us, we become so inured, we become so accustomed to its proximity that basically we don't even see it anymore. We just take it for granted. The mystery that we live in, we just take it for granted. And I think one has to say there is some intelligence. The atheistic, materialistic solution that when you die, nothing happens. We live for no reason. It's just a bunch of stuff. The world just comes out and somehow doesn't really, if you think about it, doesn't really have a lot of credence. And the trouble is nowadays, it's the preferred ideology. If you look on the History Channel or anything like that, don't look at the History Channel, you can't show this. Basically, if you get a scientist talking about something, he's an atheist. There aren't any, they don't put on the God-believing or the theistic scientists. It's always the atheistic ones. And I wonder what the agenda is. I guess, if you look at it, the people on the History Channel, the people on the television, want to sell advertising time. You know, basically, you get adverts, and in between they put some interesting material, so they go away till the next advertisement comes on. The advertisement pays for it. Consumerism is what it's all about. Now, if I believe that this world is just all there is this, and there's nothing else with no consequences, it's very good then to become a consumer. It makes consumption very, very easy. I just buy a bunch of stuff, I live, and then I die. There's no consequences. So perhaps my sister, she works, she's an executive in an advertising company, and she tells me some of the psychological subtleties that these people, the advertising we're getting now is what they devised 5 years ago. They bring in the brightest psychologists from all the top universities. This is what advertising companies do. They take them in and they find out what's the next thing that's going to get them hooked. What's changing? How do we get them? And they devise campaigns, subtle campaigns, that basically in 5 years' time will be rubbing our heads and saying, I want one of those, I want to buy one of those, and so on and so forth. We are being conned. Anyway, we all know that. Basically. So, coming back to the, what's the next option? The next option is that it is more than just, if there's an intelligence that's creating the universe, then what is that intelligence? And just on that, there are a lot of scientists that are not atheists. We worked in we had a little preaching center, Cambridge, Savaputa, some devotees, and professor of physics there, Brian Josephson, Nobel Prize winner, used to come to our house. He was a theist. He was into transcendental meditation. He went across to Oxford, which is another good school. Basically, the head of the theoretical physics department, John Polkinghorne, who at that time was an Anglican priest. Since then, he's given up his position and he's now become an Anglican bishop. These are serious thinkers. I was just reading a book that's Damodar, Roger Penrose, also from Oxford University, professor of mathematics arts at the university. It's also, these people don't just buy into the materialistic concept of life. We get the Richard Dawkins and Stephen Hawkins. These are the sort of hot figures in science at this stage, but there are others too. They don't get airplay because basically they're not helping the consumer society. Okay. So that's why I'm not an atheist at this stage. So the next thing that stepping off from being an atheism is Brahman. I want to merge into the Brahman. Because that's simple. It's very difficult to accept for most of us the personal concept of God, because it's just not there. Why should Krishna, why should this person have it all? Who put him in charge? It's not fair. Why not me? Why not you? Why not somebody else? Why him? Why is the whole cosmos, why is everything just Krishna? That's hard for us to take, because we're down in the material world. So it's a lot easier to go with the intelligence that created the universe was some background cosmic, undifferentiated hum, Brahman. That for me causes logical problems as well, because maybe I don't really know much about what Brahman means, but to me it's an undifferentiated oneness. It's like a bright light. Then this was something that Aristotle and Thomas Aquinas thought that God was like. They said God is perfect. God is perfect because he is completely undifferentiated. And because he's undifferentiated, he cannot know things. He's complete knowledge, but he has not knowledge of particular things. He has a universal knowledge, but not knowledge of particular things. Because the idea is that if I'm Brahman, I'm the right light, I have to create the universe. I have to divert some of my consciousness to create the universe. Now that's the problem, because that means before I created the universe, there was a lesser. I was lesser, or there was something lesser. And which makes it difficult for me to be perfect and complete. Does that make sense? And somehow, by being capable of being put into parts, makes that part not know what that part, or that part different from that part, and as a result, because they're different, it cannot be complete. So the idea of Brahman, according to Thomas Aquinas and Aristotle, maybe, is that it has to be undifferentiated. It has to be almost like a silent background hum, like a bright, bright light. But it cannot do things. And the problem is, if you want to create a universe, if you want to do something, you have to have a focal point. You have to bring your energies into one point and design a universe. Put brahmacharis in it, pillars, and trees, and cows, and dogs, and people, and so on and so forth. It takes a particular kind of particularized energy. That energy needs to be brought into one sphere, one place where it can work. And that starts to bring it down to, it comes down to one focal point. What is that? Is it some crystal diamond that makes all these decisions? logic says is that perhaps it needs a person, a personality to make these kind of decisions. So I think we're getting closer, I'm getting closer and closer to see the concept of person. The personal concept doesn't work. It's almost like atheism. It's kind of simple. Yeah, okay, I can't answer all these material questions where I came from, so there is some background cosmic consciousness. So when I die, my consciousness floats into the cosmic consciousness and then I'm sort of there somewhere in some sort of aspect. I merge back into the ocean. My individuality goes and I merge back into the ocean. But I don't think that answers the questions of how differentiation was required to make this material work. So we come to the option of person. God is a person. There's a few religions that have that. Christianity, I think Islam has it as well. God is a person. Christianity has the icon of Jesus hanging on the cross and in suffering. And I think Islam has Allah. Allah is a person, but he's unknowable. So you have a person of God who's almost either in a state of torment or he's unknowable. And what we have Krishna, who is Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Term. So these how do we understand if we accept that Krishna is the creator of it all? How do we get some appreciation of Krishna? If there is a person of God and we accept that it's Krishna is the most attractive, how do we get that appreciation for ourselves? Unlike Prabhupada, who realizes Krishna in his day-to-day life, who knows Krishna, who sees Krishna, who experiences first-hand Krishna, because he is pure, he is the Manashram Sacha, he is Bhakta's heart and one knows him in truth. Prabhupada knows him in truth. Siddhanta will know him in truth. Bhakti will know him. But there are a few unique individuals in this cosmos, who know Krishna, who have that direct relationship with Krishna. And I'm not one of them. Maybe some of them, but I'm not one of them, basically. So my appreciation of Krishna comes through my appreciation of Prabhupada and the little bit that I can see of my own self as a spirit soul that I have Krishna consciousness. So Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha. I'm also Satchidananda. So just looking at these three concepts, Sat means eternality. This is another difficult concept to understand. Eternality. What does that mean? There's been time going back that way, time going this way, for eternity. How many years? Squid, and I think it's an inconceivable concept. So there's another concept of eternality which is present, and that's the one that we do. Eternality can go on unchanging. So it's like when the clock goes tick, tock, tick, stops there. Everything stops. Everything stops. And time stops. And time stays still for eternity. And in a sense, we live in that world. My perception is now. Even my memories are now. Everything I live in this particular moment. I live in this eternal moment now. I could say, yeah, things happened yesterday, but what happened yesterday is now being experienced now. Everything is being experienced now. So in a sense, I had a small taste of its eternality of Sat. Chit, knowledge. I think that's intelligence is required just to make sense of it all. I have an aunt who has Alzheimer's. Imagine when you've got Alzheimer's, all this information is coming in. I'm seeing all this. I'm seeing all these people. It makes no sense to me. I don't know what it's about. It just doesn't. It makes no sense. You need intelligence to be able to understand. Oh, I'm in a room. These people are sitting distance from each other. Time is going on, and so on and so forth. So we also have a little bit of intelligence, and we can lose that intelligence. And Ananda. Krishna is unlimited Ananda, and we have some limited Ananda, and that's manifest by guess, in the desire for pleasure. The desire, we see that even in the whole so-called theory of evolution. What is driving this survival of the fittest? Every living entity is looking for some pleasure. It's looking for some food, it's looking for some mates, it's looking for some shelter. It's pleasure seeking. We have within us the driving force is the desire to enjoy, the desire to have pleasure. And then if we relate that in our relationship to Krishna, why has Krishna made us like this? Why has he made us eternal, with some knowledge and blissful? It's because Krishna has made us so that we can enjoy with it eternally and to understand God and enjoy that relationship with God. Krishna has made us for his pleasure, and his pleasure is reciprocated in our pleasure in dealing with him. So we have this wonderful relationship with Krishna, which is inconceivable. So all I can do is basically try and understand that Krishna is up there. That when I die, hopefully something decent will happen. That I won't merge into Brahman. Won't go out like a big cockroach lying on the floor. That there will be some sort of future. And as a result of being devotional service and having learned the correct way of living one's life, then one hopefully will make some advancement. Many lifetimes, hopefully one will make some advancement. Just by holding on to Prabhupada, following his instructions, which is such a wonderful lifestyle. I'm getting ready to collect my pension. I'm going to go to England or Australia, and hopefully I can sort of apply for my old age pension. I just look back at some of my contemporaries and sort of friends and think, wow, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky that everything has been so wonderful. Without Krishna consciousness, the whole life would be inauspicious. I look at my friend Ravi, who was at this critical time. Ravi has done some wonderful service for Prabhupada. I'm sure Prabhupada will have Krishna Krishna Mahabharata, Devi Ravi, Mahapita Vikuru, Desha Gora Tamoganis, Tabakati Prasategi, Krishna Krishna, the Lord of all opulence, O Rama, possessor of unlimited power. This most terrible fire is about to devour us.